Hey adventurers, welcome to the crew. I'm Sea Lord Janda, and this is my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. We are continuing to explore Defiance Bay. We've made our way through... where's the map? We've made our way through Copper Lane, Brackenbury, and Andra's Gift now. And we're headed to the final Perimeter District, Heritage Hill. I suspect this is the creepy tower referenced in our, the ancient tower referenced in our story quest here, but we'll find out. Not sure we can actually get in either. We're just going to have to talk to these guards. If not, we'll head to the central district. We'll find out in a moment. Also, very sorry this video is going to be 2 or 3 days or something late. Been very busy lately.
At once.
Oops, no fast one. Okay, I hear the distant sound of what's clearly like
Hail and well met.
skeletons. The guard holds up a palm. Sorry, but this district's closed by order of the Duke himself. What's going on in there? Both guards look at each other. Look, even if I were allowed to tell you, I don't rightly know. All I can say is whatever it is, started about 2 months ago. The guards that closed the gate talked of something unnatural that still wakes them in the middle of the night. I don't want to know any more than that. Well, how do I get inside? Trust me, you don't want to. The guard shrugs. But if you were really set on seeing this for yourself, I suppose you'd have to get permission from Willa at the keep in First Fires. Well, we can try bribing him later. You know what? It seems clear that we're probably supposed to go talk to somebody in First Fires about this first. So let's go to First Fires, the central district of the city. Seems like Heritage Hill's going to be mainly basically a combat area, probably, so... This here is the heart of the city proper. I'm pretty sure the government, like the Duke's palace, is here. It's very dark still. We should probably rest. Okay, the Valian Embassy. Temple of Wotica. I feel like we were already in that. There's the Ducal Palace. Ah, there's the Knights of the Crucible. Okay, so basically there's 3 main locations. The Duke's Palace, the Valian Embassy, and the Knights of the Crucible. You got anything to say? Not really, yeah. Okay, let's explore towards the Valian Embassy first, I guess. Ravadav-dur. Beautiful name. You see a trio of Orlans, bright and gaudy, their instruments weapons as they compete with one another in brutal disharmony. Behind them, a troupe of performers roll, jump, and gesture, teeth flashing with exquisite sharpness as they enact some bizarre pantomime. The smallest, one moment seemingly a child, and the next an old man, thrusts obscenely at the crowd, eyes glazed behind his rictus grin. The crowd jostles uncomfortably at his display, dissatisfaction in their midst. No money is thrown, no praise given as the performers continue their display. The crowd disperses uneasy, and the man-child's grin grows obscene as he watches them go. Apparently Ravadav-dur is not a success as a bard. Such a good name, too. Wonder if we're allowed into the Valian Embassy yet. Hour 4. Technically, I guess we could just stand there. Quinoline Grapplehand. Just another soul. Yep. You see solemn faces, hundreds of them. They stand in silent remembrance, the town officially lamenting the sacrifice of some brave hero. His companions stand to the side, empty. The official tells their story, the saving of the village, the story of the one lost to the trolls in the battle as best he can. The faces of his friends say far more about the veracity of the speech. Finally, it's over, and the villagers move back to their lives. The adventurers mill about for a time, talking, remembering. before heading back to the inn for the night. They mourn in their own ways. Tears, anger, svef, broken bottles. The leader of the group stays quiet, gaze inward. Weeks pass and he speaks little, leaving the inn early in the morning and returning late at night, exhausted. Finally, he takes the others to see it. A statue, life-sized, beautiful in its crude design. The villagers mount it in the square as the group leaves, still empty, but a little less broken. The statue smiles at them as they leave. Aw, that's very wholesome. In a death kind of way. Don't mind if I just run around the grounds of the Villian Embassy real quick. I'm sure embassies love when you do this. Damn it, there's not even anything useful. Right into the embassy. I think the only business we have here is with our new companion Palagina, but there could be something else inside too. Who knows? Not a super big building. I don't see any stairs, so it's not, not huge on the inside, even though it is on the outside.
Ambassador Agosti, I would speak with you on a matter of some urgency and great importance.
I kind of forget what the matter is. Sighing, as though remembering some heavy burden, Vicent crosses his arms before replying. Palagina, if this is the same matter we discussed previously, I doubt I will be convinced any more easily. Please, hear her out, Ambassador. The Ambassador appears mildly annoyed by your interjection and turns his attention back to Palagina.
Ambassador, I implore you to take a step back and look at this again.
Ambassador Agosti holds up his hand and cuts Palagina off in a strident tone. Enough! We're not going over Defiance Bay's animancers again. The Duke's Bell's desires have not changed since the last time we spoke. If you haven't heard, word of your insubordination has already found the ears of the Duchessa of Biajep and the Duke of Salona. There are murmurs that you cannot be trusted to fulfill your duties. Must this talk reach the shores of Sparento? Palagina's aggressive demeanor drains to a state of shock and worry, but she remains silent. But if it makes any... Should I shut up? Nah. If it makes any difference, Ambassador, I'm already looking into the matter. It doesn't, but it would be fortuitous if your investigation took you to Twin Elms, because that's where Palagina needs to go.
What is it the Duke's need of me, Ambassador?
The Deerwood's instability has created an opportunity for us to take over their trade with our Glonfath. We will need to meet with the Glonfath and soon to secure upcoming trade arrangements. The roads to Twin Elms can be dangerous, of course, but that's why you'll be our representative there.
Echosi, Ambassador, but won't this provoke the Deerwoodins? Their country is falling apart, and we're already dividing up their trade alliances.
Provoke them into what? Going to war? Through no fault of the Republic's, the Deerwood's armies have been deprived of an entire generation of soldiers. It would be foolish not to take advantage of the situation. If we don't, the Rayad Sarans will. I'm gonna be quiet on this one.
Really? After that, you have nothing to say.
Oh, now she's mad? I'll shrug, I guess. Oh, she's mad. Okay. Palagina clenches her jaw but remains silent. Palagina. He shakes his... I figured I'd better shut up or I'd offend the Valiant Ambassador, you know? He shakes his head. Go to Twin Elms. Speak to the Menfath. Impress upon her the instability of the Deerwood, and reassure her of the Valiant Republic's desire to open safe trade.
Of course, Ambassador.
She clearly doesn't like these orders. The Ambassador nods and smiles paternally. He then looks to you. I know you planned on investigating this crisis together, but I hope you understand Palagina's responsibilities. Of course, Ambassador, we all have our I will, I'm just going to nod non-committally. Vicent twists his mouth as he attempts to divine your intent, but gives up after a long moment. Very well, now, if you'll excuse me. Okay, that could have gone better.
Could have gone
worse,
better.
too.
Could have
Wow.
gone worse.
Okay. Way to take the words out of my mouth, Palgina.
Not that you helped put up much of a fight.
Well, I think you're in the right, but I didn't want to piss the ambassador off any further.
Enough wisdom for both of us. Now, I just need to find out how to get to Twin Elms before the ambassador loses his patience.
Still, I fear that... I cannot do that accent, I don't think. Still, I fear that making this... No. Okay. Still, I fear that making this deal with the Grandfathers will further weaken the Deerwood and make trouble for the Republics in the years to come. Well, follow your heart and do what you believe will be best for the Republics.
I wish I knew.
Fair enough. Kind of a non-answer on my part, really, anyway. Ooh, there's a book I can take here, probably. Yep. I love how some books are stealing, but some are free, although I guess that's like either correspondence or wine. Can't even tell which, honestly. These postings show current prices for a range of commodities, and they track the running exchange rate for the Valian Lucia. One of those makes perfect sense for any country's diplomat. The other one really emphasizes how trade-based Valia is.
Let's see this stubborn bastard.
No, let's not steal anything out of that chest. Clicked on that a little prematurely. Spread across the table are the blueprints of an in-progress trade deal between a merchant company from the Republics and a Deerwooden Weirwool collective. This flag depicts the symbol of the Valian Republics, a ship sailing beneath 5 radiant stars. Sorry. Okay. Nothing too exciting there, just orders for Palagina. I suppose we move on then to... Well, we can check out this temple. I think we've already been into its depths via an alternative entry route. Or maybe that's the secret new temple that we were in, and this is the old ruined temple? Probably. Oh, a ghost. Weeds grow thick and full, untroubled by the passage of Kith. So what's up, my ghost buddy?
Come to pay your respects to the queen that was.
A ghost hovers in the middle of the ruin, reciting blessings and prayers. Even as the spirit's form shifts and swirls, it retains the face of an elderly man and robes that mark wealth and status. It turns to you. Who are you?
Lord Ardwellen Rugform III, and pleased to make your acquaintance. I came to the Deerwood on one of the first ships from Adia, and unlike the yokels and hut dwellers around here, I still keep to the old ways.
I see. It's truly a pity to see what the locals have done to Wodika's house of worship. So, what you doing here?
Worshipping Wodika, the exiled queen and oathbinder. I come every day to offer my devotion. I'd love nothing more than to book passage back to Adia, but it is my emperor's wish that I serve in these barbaric lands. And so I do.
Yeah, he clearly doesn't know that he's dead, but, tell me
A queen among the gods. She oversees laws and oaths. Everything has a rightful place, and Wodika watches over them all. Of course, not everyone accepts this. Even among the other gods, her authority is questioned. But Wodika is also goddess of memory and vengeance, and she remembers. She'll remember every slight and trespass when she reclaims her throne.
We learned most of this when we were in her new secret temple before, but yeah, kind of confirmation that she's a bit of a little bit petty, maybe you might say, for a god, really.
I beg your pardon? Is this some sort of joke where you come from?
Buddy, take a look at yourself, you're a ghost.
A madhouse. That's what this town really needs.
Okay, he's not going to believe me. Oh, right. Pelagina's not seen me do a watcher thing before. As you regain awareness of what's happening around you, you realize that your head is in Pelagina's feathered hands. Her golden eyes are peering into your own, as though she's trying to catch a glimpse of activity lurking in the depths. As she sees your eyes respond, she wobbles your head a little and gives you a light slap. Letting go and stepping back, she regards you with concern. Everything going all right in there? It's fine, Pelagina. Somebody should have explained to you that I'm a watcher, honestly. Okay. Pretty sure that's the other, probably the faction where... Well, I haven't totally decided against the dozens, but I think I have. But what the hell? Hey, I found some assassins. Okay. This seems like a bad place for a fight. Those two are gonna come at me. Tell you what, myself and Aloth both immediately magic missile the guy who looks like an assassin. Or, I mean, like a wizard. Ader, go tank. Kana, stand here. Sigani, stand here. Pelagina, also go tank. Got it? What are your specials? Lay on hands. Flames of devotion. Okay. Now in this. Oh, there's more of them than I realized. Okay. Alright, well, there's solutions to all things, such as this. Aloth, why don't you just start hitting these two frontliners with the Arcane Assault. Yeah, second wizard and several, Damn, they're all healing over there, back there. Okay, Aloth, hit him with that. Maybe we should really go for right here. Scotty, are you in combat? No, you're not getting shot anyway. Or, I mean, not getting stabbed. You chant a little more. You, I guess, better activate this aura for one. And then, sure, use Flames of Devotion on this guy. Okay, wiped one out. Kana, could I get some of these? Thanks. You guys fly in the last wizard, please. There we go. Okay. The full adventuring party worth of assassins, really. Battle axe, flail, only basic stuff though. Well, a couple of sets of plate armor, that's at least worth money. Oh, wait. A note. Written on this scrap of parchment is a concise but detailed description of you, including your name, your distinguishing features, and everyone you're known to have associated with in your brief time in Deerwood. Okay, well that's a little concerning, you might say. Pretty basic mages. Wands. Money. Another assassin's note.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah, I'm not happy about the assassination attempt, but hey, it's daylight. Nothing really to go on in terms of tracking it, though, unfortunately. Let's read these guys' souls. You see this man, much younger, lying on a large stone slab situated on a dais in the center of a circular room. At 7 points around the dais, older men in black robes prostrate themselves over ornate runes worked into the stone of the floor, chanting in a low drone. An 8th man enters, carrying an ebony box inlaid with gold runes that match the runes on the floor. He stands at the head of the slab, lowers his head, and slowly opens the box. He turns to each prostrate man in turn, tipping the open box in their direction as he does. He then sets the box at the head of the slab, facing away from the young man lying there. He reaches into the box, removing a small cylinder of ink, and then moves to the end of the slab, stopping near the young man's feet. He holds the ink up, says a word, and then places it against the young man's right foot. When it touches his flesh, the ink softens and becomes a black leech, attaching itself to the young man's soul. The man repeats these steps until there are leeches on both hands and feet, the middle of his chest, his neck, and his forehead. The older man then takes his place at the head of the slab, raising his hands and joining the chanting, watching the young man as his blood drains. That's kind of disturbing, Magnod. About Liranor. You see a dimly lit street lined with buildings. Most of them are dark and quiet, but one at the edge of a canal is bright and noisy, defying the night. This Omoa stands in the dark, huddled against the cold of the shadows, keeping away from everything. He stares at the door of the lit building, intently studying it. There's a sign hanging on the side of the building. It's barely legible in the dark, but it appears to read, Goose and Fox. Well, that's in this town. Movement from inside the building perks the Omoa up. He pulls his cloak closer around his face and his breath speeds up, catching slightly. His excitement is palpable. The main door to the establishment opens, releasing a cacophony of laughter and shouting. Light spills out onto the street, illuminating a solitary figure in the doorway. The Omoa stands, bringing his right hand up in front of his face, palm down, fingers extended. The figure exits the Goose and Fox and stumbles off into the darkness, swaying slightly as it walks on steadily down the street. The Omoa follows the figure, muttering a few words under his breath and gently wiggling his hand. The tips of his fingers start glowing slightly, steam rising from them against the cold air. He increases his pace, intent on catching the figure disappearing into the night. He shakes his hand once more, and the tips of his fingers burst into flame, the flickering light revealing a manic glee in his eyes. He closes on the figure, nearly hyperventilating with happiness, and whispers a name, Karan. The figure jumps slightly and begins to turn, so the Omoa extends his hand, leveling his fingers directly at the figure. Okay, I'm pretty sure he did a murder there, but could have been justified, who knows. The stones of this ancient tower have been blackened by centuries-old fires. Surrounded by a patch of wildflowers, it looks like a memorial. Yeah, it kind of does. Feels, deliberately preserved. Out of the ruins of some much older fortress that was here. Okay, not much up here. This is just the way to Copper Lane. More guards. Let's just check this side really quick. Corpses are right up the stairs. Just take a quick look over here. Oh, it's a side entrance. We'll probably go through the main door. Not too much, just laying around in the ground in the government center. There's a couple more people with souls, probably. 12 charms, Maggie Tiller. You see a small mobile stall covered with various goods and sundries. This woman is standing next to it, engaged in a lively discussion with a man who's holding one of the items she's selling. She has a light, friendly countenance and is trying to explain to the man how to control the item. He moves his hands around the top of it and mutters what sounds to be gibberish. After After several attempts, he growls and thrusts the item back at her and starts to turn away. She stops him with a hand on his shoulder and holds the item up in front of his face. She traces a finger over it, slowly and distinctly repeating the same phrase over and over. The object suddenly lights up, shining as brightly as a torch. The man's face brightens as well, and he looks at her expectantly. She runs 2 fingers down the side of the object, and the light extinguishes. She hands it back to him and takes her place behind, guiding his hands as she whispers the words to say in his ear. Many failed attempts later, the man is able to light the object on every try. Elated, he hands it back to her as she makes her way behind the cart. While he searches for appropriate coin, she places the item on a shelf under the back side of the cart and replaces it with another from a small box next to it. Money and goods are exchanged, and she watches the man leave, satisfied with his purchase. Then she scans the crowd, looking for her next mark. Well, that's a little unethical, 12 charms, Maggie. But oh well. Cavalier Kwan. You see a man preaching, his voice washing over a small crowd of eager acolytes. He speaks of tolerance and of self-reliance, of pain and of beauty. The crowd nods, agreement clear on their transparent faces, and the preacher frowns. He continues, speaking of the importance of anger, the strength of hatred and frustration. Oh, joyous preacher. His frown deepens as they nod in raptures. He calls forth one of their number, an older man. It's safe, the preacher says. No harm will come to him. Smiling, the man walks forward into the preacher's embrace. A shudder rocks his frame as he pushes away, a thin stiletto through his chest. He falls to the ground and does not breathe long. The crowd groans, confused. The preacher's face is dark with rage. Do not trust blindly, he says. Do not take the world at its face. Terrible things lie beneath, and you must be prepared before you see the truth. The crowd thins, the body removed, the preacher silent. A few remain to listen, and to them he smiles. Oh, and yet nobody reports the whole murder of an old man thing? Okay. Doesn't seem very cool. Alright, the Ducal Palace itself. Now we're supposed to visit Magron's. Yeah, there's several things in here we have to visit for characters. For our companions.
Greetings.
What's up, Sidley? The young woman wears a simple but well-tailored uniform. She watches the comings and goings around her with quiet attention. Any news to share, or are you just here to see the Ducal Palace? Who are you? I'm a page here at the palace. I deliver messages and run errands for the Duke and his advisors. The pay's not great, but I can't think of a better introduction to politics. Looking for news? What's the Duke? This seems like a really dumb question. It's the seat of government here in Defiance Bay. This is where Duke Admath Hadrid declared freedom from Adiran rule some 150 years ago. She lowers her voice and grins. It's also a hotbed of regional politics. Trust me, the gossip here beats what you'll find in any tavern or brothel in the city. Yeah, this is exactly what you would have expected it to be. Ah, Deerwood politics. It changes too quickly to be worth keeping up with. Better to strike up conversation in the taverns than try to loiter inconspicuously in the palace corridors. What kind of stuff goes on in here? She laughs. Where to start? We've got meetings, public hearings, and ceremonies, and that's just the stuff that happens out in the open. She leans a little closer. This is where the Duke and his key advisors work, so there's always someone bartering for a favor. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to talk about that side of things. But if you want the official version, she clears her throat and gestures counterclockwise around the palace, we have a shrine devoted to Magron, official records, and chambers for public hearings and council meetings. So what's up with the shrine? It's a symbol of Magron's protection of Defiance Bay. She's represented the revolutionary spirit of the Deerwood ever since independence, and her involvement in creating the Godhammer bomb only affirmed her importance to us. She scratches her neck. That's also where the first of the sacred fires burn, but Ferga, the tranquil ardent, has had trouble keeping them lit. Always bad, your eternal fire not being eternal. What sort of records you got? Mostly dull official stuff. Census counts, tax records, militia registers. Now, I keep my distance. I got curious one day and got drafted into reshelving half the records. She yawns. Worst day of my life. Any interesting hearings going on? Sure is. Duke Avar's been meeting some of the city leaders for weeks now, trying to figure out how to address the legacy. The whole business is terribly secret, though. I tried to sit in the gallery in my lunch break one day and got turned away. She sniffs. But a lot of the talk concerns animancy, so there's good reason they're keeping the meeting behind closed doors. I think we already know these questions. She laughs. Where to begin? Traditionalists think it's a crime against the gods. There's no question that poking around in souls is risky, but the more progressive elements believe it's our only shot at restoring healthy births. That doesn't help that animancy research often involves old Longwith and ruins that were illegally looted from ruins in Arglanfath. She makes a quick twitching motion with her index and middle fingers. Though she doesn't seem too impressed by the law against looting ruins. To be fair, most of the people here don't. Who aren't Glanfathan anyway. Okay. We already know what the legacy is, but yeah. I don't know why we're asking her this. We know these questions. Okay. What do you think about animancy? Me? I think the real danger of animancy is confusing a real scholar with an expensive fake. We get a new case here every day. Some poor couple in the Gift or Copper Lane who spent every copper they had on a miracle cure for their unborn child. It never works. She shakes her head. Breaks your heart, but there's usually nothing we can do for them. Gotcha. Anyway, the legacy is what the politicians have all been whispering about lately. Okay, anything else? Tell me about the Duke. That would be Avar Wolfgren. Don't let the title fool you, though. Our Dukes have been elected since independence. Some find Duke Avar rather coarse. He's a frontier noble. Personally, I think a rough and tumble type is just what Defiance Bay needs. Elected how? Like, probably by a noble council or something. I doubt it's an actual democracy. It's interesting that it's not directly hereditary, though. Wolfgren, huh? So he's a warrior type. That might be kind of not what the Deerwood needs, because I'm pretty sure what they need is a scholarly type to figure this out. Okay, yeah, we have at least 2 companion quests that are in here, I think. Which would be... Oh, no? I guess it's just to travel to Ader to this. This is not. This is just a point of interest. Transform us with your flame, okay. A stone figure of a warrior gazes toward her raised hand. It's empty, but the palm and fingers are blackened. Ah. Ferga, you're gonna need us to fix your eternal fire.
Greetings.
The woman's head is bowed as her lips move in prayer. Just as you approach, you catch her glimpsing at the statue near her. She notices you and forces a smile. Praise be to Magran, and welcome to her temple. How may I be of service? You seem upset. Her shoulders slump. This is about the fires, isn't it? She puts a hand on your shoulder. They're just symbols. You can't put your faith in them. The fires? She sighs. The sacred pyres all around town. You must have seen the statues of the goddess around the city holding up empty braziers. I've kept them burning steadily for 15 years, but I haven't been able to conjure them for months now. The people need to see them more than ever these days. What does that mean? It's my devotions and prayers that keep them lit, but lately when I try to pray, all I can think about are the hollowborn all over the city. The grieving families, the refugees. She shakes her head. How could Magran allow us to suffer like this? What strength do we gain from a soulless child? I take it this is shaking your faith? She nods, running her hands through her hair. But I believe Magran may be speaking to me again. She frowns and casts a quick glance in your direction. This will likely sound so far-fetched to someone like you. Lately I've been seeing visions. A place in the wilderness with pools filled with sunbursts of color. Strange falls that seem to rise to the heavens even while they splash into the earth. She raises her hands as if framing an image of her vision. Then behind the falls is a cave filled with fire and heat and danger, and some token of my goddess. I know there's something there, but where it is or how I'd get there, she shakes her head. I've been meaning to ask around at the expedition hall to see if anyone recognizes the description. To be honest, though, I don't know what I'd do even if I found the place. Scanny's painted brow furrows. An uncertain mission with no clear outcome. I can understand her confusion. Still, it seems odd she'd send us when the vision's clearly hers. True. What do you know? What can you tell me about the temple here? Magran is the most revered goddess among us, dear Woodens, so it's no surprise that her temple is part of the ducal palace. Her fires symbolize trials, revolutions, and the blazing of new paths, all of which are important to us. She gestures to the statue. This is the first of the sacred pyres. When this is lit, so are the rest around the city. Anything else? Yeah, what's the significance of the pyres? They symbolize Magran's power and guidance, and right now the people of Defiance Bay need to be assured of her presence. She crosses her arms, staring at the statue. Our neighbors in the Valian Republic see us as superstitious, but we're just sensitive to the signs and warnings of the gods. Okay, well, we're clearly going to have to go out of the city to resolve that one. So for now, let's go up the stairs and see if we can get into the Hall of Records. Do some archival work for Ader. Apparently it's stealing to touch them. Hey, Records Keeper.
How do you do?
A taciturn man with graying hair pores over a tome he's just withdrawn from one of the shelves. He glances up at you with baggy eyes. Yes, is there something I can pull for you? I'm looking for militia records from the time of the Saints' War, trying to find out what happened to someone. The man clears his throat. We've had a number of inquiries about such information. I'm afraid we've had to bar access to the public. Seems there are still quite a number of folk in Deerwood who bear ill will toward Riyadh Sarans. It would be irresponsible to surrender their names to just anyone. Many came here to settle here as refugees. Perhaps if we were more established in Defiance Bay, things would be different. But I have no reason to suspect you to be any different from the others. We've come a very long way. I just need to find out about my brother. I don't even know what side he fought for. You understand, I've heard many such stories, but I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you. More established in Defiance Bay. Does that just mean I need... We'll come back to this. It probably means I need more reputation in town to get him to do this, which is fine. We'll figure that out. I'm sure doing all the side quests that we've still got will probably resolve that eventually. That's out, I take it? Seems like it should be. 400 copper. I mean, we can bear the expense, but we do have a lot of hirelings now. I take it we're not going to be allowed in here. Yeah. Although I feel like eventually we're going to be, but not yet, clearly. Interesting. How do we get this, then? I feel like we did this, and then just... Okay, is through here just out? Didn't figure too much out in the Ducal Palace. Well, let's try the Crucible Keep. I'm pretty certain there will at least be quests there. Oh, hey, you know, I actually have the capacity to send someone to do these, maybe. Durance, figure out whatever the hell that quest is, eh? We should really rest, but I don't think this will be a combat area either, so... No, pretty sure it'll be peaceful inside. It's a pretty sturdy keep they got here. Right next to the Ducal Palace, too. Clearly they are in very high official regard. Alright, up and into the keep, I guess. Thanks for watching, adventurers. New parts will be up every other day, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. Have a nice day, adventurers. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.